She is the co-founder of Orxa Energies. Please welcome to the stage Miss Ranjita Ravi. Put your hands together. Welcome her to the stage.
Hi, everyone. A wonderful morning to everyone here. Thank you so much for coming and listening to the founder's story. When I was told that the topic or the title of the session I would have is called The Founder's Story, I was wondering how exactly we would go about telling a founder's story, right? Because a founder's story is something, well, unique and pretty much the same, right? So I'm Ranjita Ravi. I'm co-founder at Orxa Energies. At Orxa Energies, we build performance electric vehicles. You will notice that I said vehicles and not motorcycles that you might know us for. I'm the MBA, my co-founder is the PhD. Together, we are the two co-founders at Orxa Energies, but we also happen to be husband and wife, right? I have done my MBA at ESSEC Business School, traveled to about 20 countries on work, 30 countries otherwise, lived about 20% of my life so far outside of India, and came back here. And what could you say is an inspiration for starting Orxa Energies? These are mainly the topics that I would cover today. What is the inspiration, what we do at Orxa Energies, apart from electric motorcycles, and of course, the founder's story itself, right? This is my inspiration. You will find me here, mostly coming from the left to the right on any given Sunday evening. This is the Sarjapur Road, Outer Ring Road junction. My mother lives in Whitefield. I live in JP Nagar. And this is where you'd find me on any given Sunday evening, now that I've come back to India. Right? 14 to 16%, and I don't need to repeat these numbers, certainly not after Mr. Amitabh Kant. 14 to 16% of transportation, of greenhouse gas emissions come from transportation. And 72% of this number comes from road transport. In Indian cities, 43% of the pollution comes from tailpipe emissions. These are, of course, esoteric numbers. They don't really seem valid or real to us. But when you're sitting here on a Sunday evening, very tired after a very long week of work, and then you're going back home, you start to feel it, right? This was, you can say, the start of the inspiration. But so what? I mean, like any other person who's come back from outside India, I could sit around and complain. But it is not the critic who counts. It is not the man who points out how somebody is stumbling. It is the man in the arena. And the credit belongs to the man in the arena whose face is marred by dust and sweat, right? And for me, when you say a founder's story, the founder's story is a story of the man in the arena. This is an extract from a speech by Theodore Roosevelt. He, of course, called this speech Citizenship in a Republic. He gave the speech at Paris Sorbonne in 1910. But this speech has now come to be known as the man in the arena, right? Because the credit does not belong to the critic. Because even though you are a founder, you might fail. And most certainly you will fail. Most people who are founders here, I know a lot of startup founders here that I've been meeting across different events and different fora. I know that most likely we're going to fail, right? There's a very high chance that founders fail, that startups fail. But at least we will fail while daring greatly. And this was the inspiration for us to do something about pollution, about congestion, about everything that we saw coming back to Bangalore. Okay? And hence, the Mantis. There are 3 words that will come up in this video, and I'd just like you to pay attention to these 3 words, and I'll come back to them towards the end of my team certainly likes to show off the bike that they've built. But a lot of people say, founders should be hopeful, founders should be positive, but we strongly believe that hope is a four-letter word. It's not necessary, or it's not sufficient to be hopeful alone. At Orxa Energies, we do multiple things. Of course, the electric motorcycle that you just saw, it's available for riding. I think some of the people here have also ridden the bike. And we do other things apart from this. So we have built, over the last 8 years, 5 iterations of the motorcycle itself. We went from steel frame to aluminum frame. We went from fixed battery to swap battery, back to fixed battery pack. We have built multiple iterations of very high-performance battery packs that are used in aerospace. We are the first in the country to be BIS certified for 50 kg class drone, and deployed over 400 of these battery packs for very high-performance drones across the country, from Gujarat to Manipur and Tamil Nadu to Haryana. We work in the defense sector, where we build battery packs for the defense sector. We have built vehicles, 1-ton vehicles and above for the defense sector. The entire ride-by-wire system is done in-house. And of course, the battery management system, the battery packs, the thermal management system, et cetera, et cetera. So apart from this, we do, of course, other things as well, where we work on motorsports, we work on leisure segment, and hence what I said, performance electric vehicles, not just motorcycles alone. This is a very cool ride that my team did last year. We were with another, the bike was taken, the Mantis was taken by a startup mentor of a startup accelerator not far from here, where they wanted to do 14,000 kilometers on an electric motorcycle to take made-in-India startups to Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. They came to us with this problem statement that they wanted to take an electric motorcycle for 14,000 kilometers. My co-founder and I wrote 3 pages, 2 columns thick, of all the problems that we would have during this ride, which is this map, and we decided to go ahead with it anyway. This ride was called the Electric Bharatmala. We did that last year, February to March last year, and we completed 13,510 kilometers in 54 days. One bike was ridden by the startup mentor. The other bike was my teammates, including my co-founder, who rode about 4,000 kilometers, and my other engineers who have actually designed the bike, who rode the bike themselves. So hope is a 4-letter word. We need to do a lot of work to make sure the product actually reaches you. At this point of time, I think you're going to imagine that I'm going to launch into a listicle of all the patents that we have and all the engineering that we've done and all the work that has happened, but I'm not. What I want to talk to you is a poem by Rudyard Kipling. It's called If. Now, this is a poem that's quite famous. It was again written in 1910. It's a coincidence that both the quotations I'm using are from 1910. But this is there at the center court of the Wimbledon. Muhammad Ali used to carry it around in his wallet. The NDA in Pune and the Indian Naval Academy both have it on their walls in front of the officers' cabins. Right? And I thought, rather than giving you a long list of how during our founders' journey we achieved XYZ things, so many patents, so much of technical advancement, how we made the lightest electric motorcycle India and internationally available, how about I tell you this story in a slightly different way? We started the company in 2015, right? And in 2015, there were not too many electric motorcycles available. There were 0 motorcycles outside of India. We were bootstrapped for the first 3 years. So if you can trust yourself when all men around you doubt you, but you make allowance for their doubting too. We were bootstrapped for 3 years before we raised our first round of funding. In that time, while being bootstrapped, we built a couple of prototypes already. So if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, that's what being a founder is. We built and lost the first team. At the time we received our first round of funding, we were 4 team members, right? In between, a very close family member. I told you my co-founder is my spouse and so on. A very close family member was also diagnosed with a fatal disease, right? Next, in 2018 to 2020, we got our first round of funding, fantastic. We got our second round of funding, fantastic. We got many awards from ISR, from Invest India. We got a grant from Schneider. Things were going great. We had built multiple prototypes. We got into Airbus Biz Labs. The first few projects of our aerospace started coming in. We also lost a parent. We lost a grandparent. And COVID started. So if you can meet triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same, that's what it means to be a founder. Right? 2020 and 2022, I do not have to remind you of these years that we would much rather forget. We received a very prestigious defense project. We were talking directly to the DRDO teams. Our office was open through the lockdown. We didn't shut. We shut for probably a couple of weeks because we got a letter from the DRDO and we were working through this. Team was fantastically motivated. Of course, it is motivating to build something in olive green. We had to still let go of the few of the teammates because the 2019 fundraise that we had was not that great. And by this time, of course, we were starting to run out of runway, and money coming in from our defense and aerospace customers in terms of the cash cycle was pretty slow. So you make a big heap of all your winnings and risk it in one turn of pitch and toss. In 2019, end of 2019, we were in India Bike Week. We were the first electric motorcycle there. We unveiled the bike there, and we were extremely not pleased or not satisfied with that. So over 2020 and 2022, over the lockdown, the Mantis went on a massive weight loss program. From 200 kgs, we started attacking every single subsystem that we had, and the engineering teams brought down the weight by more than 30 kgs in just 2 years. Right? Thanks to the defense projects and the aerospace projects, our in-house electronics were at a very high level of development. In 2021, I lost my father. In 2022, I lost my grandmother. So you hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says, hold on. Where are we now? 2022 and 2024, and so on. We are now done with the development of the bike. The electric motorcycle that we have built is now in ARAI as we speak. Some of my teammates are there right now. Most of our subsystems are already certified. We are now going into the vehicle level certification, and soon after this, we will be at a launch. So if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, that's what it means to be a founder. So how we build and who we build for, I think at this point of time, I asked you at the beginning of the video to just remember those 3 words. Those 3 words are unique, uncompromising, and unprecedented. The team we have is very unique. A lot of the times we do up to 400 interviews to hire one person. We talk to 400 people to hire one person. They are all bikers first. It is a recruitment criteria. They are incredible owners, and we are extremely thankful for them, which is why we have survived so many challenges in our founder's journey as well. So they are unique. We are uncompromising to each other. The battles we have in office are famous, where we fight about what the product should be and how the product should be and how it should come out. And hence, the work that we do is unprecedented, and how a pre-production prototype can complete the world's longest ride on an electric motorcycle, right? And that's why the work we do is unprecedented. Who we build for is you. We believe that electric motorcycles are not some abstract foreign concept, right? They are meant for everyone. You can ride the Mantis. It is very easy to ride. It's very fantastic to ride. You don't have to be a boss biker who has, I don't know, a Triumph, a Ducati, and a Kawasaki, a 1000cc minimum to be able to ride the Mantis. It's not. It's for the biker in you, and that's who we built for. So, are you ready to ambush? Thank you. Is it like a Q&A, or I think that's...
The ambush has begun. But it's just one question for now, but go ahead, sir.
Yeah, great job with the presentation and the work you guys have done. Simple question, why switch from swappable batteries to fixed batteries, and what's the thinking behind that?
So the main purpose of the Mantis is a B2C. We don't think that there's going to be either or. For a B2B application, swap makes fantastic sense. There is a high utilization. The economics works out. And most of the time, people are not concerned about ownership because it's owned by a fleet, right? In this case, of course, swap makes fantastic sense. You can have very low vehicle cost. Like Mr. Amitabh also said, the cost of a vehicle is, major part of it comes from the battery pack itself, even now. For B2C kind of an ownership segment, so the Mantis is addressing the mid-segment of motorcycles. So you can say equivalent of a 200, 250 kind of a motorcycle. For this segment, we did very detailed study. We spoke to more than 400 people. And this happened actually during 2020 to 2022 because the vehicle that we unveiled at India Bike Week in 2019 had a swappable battery. In fact, we went on stage in India Bike Week in Bagator and displayed how we were going to do the swap, right? And then we spoke to people and understood that if you're giving them something like 9, 10 kilowatt hours of battery pack, right? For most people, that is enough for a week, 80% of the use cases, whereas fast charging might be more useful for them for their occasional weekend ride or when they want to take it on the track or they want to go off-road. Fast charging might be way more useful for them. Yeah. So it's just in terms of usability, we believe that both systems will exist.
Thank you for that. Can we hear a big round of applause for her, please? Thank you so much for sharing your story. It was absolutely wonderful. And that video was fantastic. Such a hot video. Very well done. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Orxa Energies.